Welcome and thank you all for joining us for this special series of the Crexi Podcast, an insider's look at all things commercial real estate. I'm your host, Ashley Kopovich, Director of Partnerships at Crexi. And this is the Women of Influence series delivering next-level insights and expertise live from GlobeSt's Multifamily Fall Event. Today, we're thrilled to sit down with Claire Johnston, CEO of Lend-Lease Americas. A little bit about our guest. Claire Johnston was appointed Chief Executive Officer Americas in November of 2022. Her latest role in a 26-plus year history with the global real estate and investment management company. Claire oversees all aspects of America's businesses and is a member of the global leadership team. Claire's previous leadership roles at Lend-Lease include Managing Director of Google Development Ventures, where she led teams that developed 4 master plans to bring up to 15 million square feet of residential, retail, hospitality, and associated community uses to the San Francisco Bay Area. She also served as Managing Director of Lend-Lease Communities, an exclusive partnership with the Department of Defense, through which Lend-Lease delivers design, construction, financing, environmental, and asset management services for military housing and lodging, with a national portfolio comprising of over 40,000 residential units and more than 12,000 hotel rooms. Claire also held the position of Executive Project Director of Island Palm Communities in Oahu, Hawaii, the largest residential privatization project ever awarded by the Department of Defense. Prior to this, she served as Executive Project Director for Lend-Lease's Docklands, Melbourne, Australia, a U.S. $6 billion AUD $4 billion partnership with the City of Melbourne and the State Government of Victoria, where she oversaw the master plan development and delivery of commercial, residential, and mixed-use assets for the Urban Renewal Project. Throughout her career at Lend-Lease, Claire has been a champion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, having served as the first executive sponsor of the Pride America's LGBTQ+ Employee Resource Group. As CEO, she leads Lend-Lease's DEI Advisory Council. Claire was recently named to GlobeSt Real Estate Forum's annual Women of Influence list and was recognized by the San Francisco Business Times as one of the most influential women. She received a Bachelor of Commerce, Labor, and Industrial Relations from the University of Western Sydney and a Master's in Business Property from the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. Claire, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Super excited to see you and be here.
We're so lucky to have you sit down with us. Thanks so much. So I know we just dived into your background, but tell us a little bit more about where you got started, how you found commercial real estate.
So I'm from Sydney and I grew up swimming and surfing on the northern beaches, which was, the best childhood you could ever have, and was, really fortunate to get into the course that I wanted to do at university. And it was a general business course, really excited, and always knew that I wanted to have a big career and work in the city, come off the beach and work in the city and hopefully work internationally as well. And so I was lucky to find the organisation that I am still with and have been with since 1996. It's an integrated real estate organisation, and what drew me to that group was that it was very much about understanding legacy-based real estate. And so what that means is we're not here just for ourselves for today, but we're here for the communities that we operate in, develop for, and helping them engender a sense of, growth and energy and life and creation. And so I really like that aspect about the organisational culture of Lend-Lease and the DNA, and also a really very dedicated set of really smart real estate people who were also very much about creative thinking and looking for different ways to do things and innovate. So that was the reason why I was drawn to this group, and it's also the reason why I stay.
I love to hear that. So obviously there's a reason that you're staying. So talk to us a little bit maybe about some of the biggest accomplishments that you've had throughout your career, and then maybe some favorite mistakes or things that made you have to course correct.
Yeah, lots of those. So I pretty much started at the bottom, and I've had the great fortune to end up leading one of the regions in our group. And so I think I've pretty much done every job in many jurisdictions and most different activities. And part of the real strength of integrated real estate companies who have that positive DNA is that they will allow you to do different things and learn different ways of doing things. I don't come out with a technical knowledge. I'm not an architect. I'm not an engineer. But I was able to find many people who would sponsor me and help me grow my real estate domain knowledge. So, you'd find someone who would help you read a plan. You'd find somebody who'd help you learn about balance sheets. You'd find a mentor who'd teach you about what it means to deliver affordable housing in communities. And so the resource pool was fantastic and available. And one of the best things that I learned very early on was to reach out and seek those people, because if you seek people, they will have a conversation with you. We all feel scared about doing that, particularly when you're young, but you shouldn't, because everybody wants to help. And so I think that was one of the best things I learned. I think many mistakes along the way, walking out onto construction sites without understanding the right landscape, understanding the union environment, not having the right gear on, those sorts of things were sort of pretty significant errors. I think sometimes, when you're working with customers who you're not familiar with their cultural zone, Department of Defence was a fabulous learning curve for me. I first worked with the Department of Defence in 2006, and I'd never known anybody from the military. I never known any military families or any sort of reason why those communities exist and what their purpose is. And I came to understand what the mission of a military family is and what their particular nuances are and what they need. And so I was able to learn by listening about different people's perspectives, and the product that you deliver responds to the needs of those people. So lots of mistakes, but I have learned to listen in order to avoid making those mistakes.
I love that. There's a saying, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for
That's
a reason, right? So always learning from that and being able to listen. What, in addition to listening, learning, making sure that you're having the customer right at the forefront and understanding what they need in the conversation, what other daily practices, things like that make you so successful?
Perseverance, I think. And I think overcoming your own insecurities, because everybody has insecurity, and everybody has fear, and everybody has you're in a meeting and you don't know, like if you're, like the smartest person in the room, the dumbest person in the room, somewhere in the middle, and you sort of don't really know. And sometimes for me, it's difficult. The conversation will be going in a way, and I'll feel like, when is the time to contribute, and how can I contribute, and what can I do that's meaningful? And I think creating open environments where diversity of thought and opinion matter and improve a conversation or an outcome are things that I have learnt to foster actively as a leader for other people, because I have suffered those sort of fear-based, reasons or desires not to say anything. And so I think to create an environment where everybody's view is an opinion is worthy and worthwhile, but also to draw out the opinion of others, because not always is it that the loudest talker in the room is the smartest talker or has the best idea. It's often the people who sit and listen at the back who bring the conversation richness. And so being able to engage people in conversation, I think is really important.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that. And the way that you foster that is a huge cue into your leadership and probably some DEI initiatives that you're doing. So tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Well, diversity, equity, inclusion is a fundamental part of a strong organisational culture. And when you see and feel an inclusive environment, you know it. And again, one of the reasons I joined our organisation so many years ago was because it was inclusive and it was a place for everybody and continues to be. The fact that we have DEI frameworks around that is just a structural manifestation of things that good organisations always have. And so I think the difference as we move into the sort of the DEI conversation here is that it's about facilitating employee-led conversations as well as marrying the needs of the organisation. And so Lendlease is very strong in its culture, its expectations. We're a performance-based culture. We exist for our investors as much as the communities that we serve and also the people who work with our organisation. And so for them to have a voice around what is right, what's emerging in society, share their thoughts and opinions and the way that they shape the culture as a really important aspect of our organisation.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear just in both of those two answers, right? I mean, sometimes we will have imposter syndrome, right? So we might not want to speak up, but creating that layer for everyone too is really, really good, because sometimes you'll have your own blind spots and you don't realize, what you can learn from other people. So I love that you're setting the tone there. Now a question, obviously we're at the GlobeSt Multifamily Conference. Now I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if you did have a crystal ball, where would you see multifamily going in 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting time. It's really easy to be down about real estate at the moment for all the right reasons, right? The macroeconomic environment's not great. Things are changing. We're still recovering from COVID. There's lots of reasons to be, despairing. But there's equally great reasons to be excited about the future. And I think, if you look at multifamily as an asset class, it is going to be the leader of real estate into the future. And if you look at, Lendlease is an investment-led organisation where we bring our capital partners in to develop great product with us on their behalf. And it's no secret there is an international housing crisis and shortage that exists all around the world. And so for institutional capital, very, very attracted to high quality multifamily products in big cities where infrastructure exists already. And so we're very live in conversations with our investment community around the product we can bring to them. And they see real growth and performance to sort of come in the near term because of this supply and demand, and also because of the ability to bring quality new product into our community. So I think it's really exciting. We will emerge. Everything will be great again. At some point, it's just really understanding what we can do to get our product as great as we can for our investors when those markets fully recover.
Sure. I love that. And you're giving us such positive hope for the future because I absolutely agree. We're going to bounce back and it's only going to keep going up from here. So I know that this was a short version, but any additional advice, insights, anything that you would want our listeners to know before we let you go here?
I would just say, it's an exciting time. There's a lot of emerging things, and there'll be next generation product development, investment capabilities that leading organisations will bring to them. PropTech, huge disruptors, AI disruptors in terms of the ability to efficiently manage multifamily assets, also to deliver them with fabulous green credentials. Our investors are really attracted to new multifamily portfolios that have reduction in carbon emissions, that have energy efficient products. We're building 832 unit building in New York on the waterfront at Greenpoint. It's all electric, it's geothermal, it's high quality product that is in high demand for both renters but also the investment community. And so let's get behind change, let's bring it with us into the product developments, and again, our capital will want that, and of course people will love to live in these great communities as well. So really excited about what we can bring as an industry.
Amazing. So our listeners probably do want to get in touch. So how can they find you? Social media, LinkedIn, email?
I'm on LinkedIn, absolutely. I start to feel my age when I can't rattle off all of the media apps that I am, but I'm definitely on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Claire. Really appreciate you sitting down and sharing your insights. We know you're very busy, so thank you, and to a great rest of the conference for you.
Thanks for having me. What a joy. Thank you.
Amazing. And thanks so much for our listeners. If you enjoyed this episode, do not miss the next one. Visit Crexi.com/podcast and sign up to get the next episode delivered straight to your inbox. Of course, you can also subscribe to the Crexi Podcast on your favorite podcast app and check out our YouTube channel for video recordings of each episode. Take care and be sure to tune in next time.